I never thought my life would turn into a nightmare just hours before the happiest day of my life. The night before our wedding, I woke up to a message on my phone. It was from Emily, my fiancée. My heart sank as I read it over and over again. I need time. Don't look for me. At first, I thought it was some kind of sick joke. Maybe she was nervous. Maybe it was cold feet. But when I called her, the line went straight to voicemail. Her phone was off. Panic hit me like a wave. I drove straight to her apartment. The door was locked, lights off. Her neighbor, Mrs. Miller, told me she saw Emily late at night with a suitcase in her hand. My stomach turned. Where could she possibly be going, and why would she leave without a word? Her parents were just as shocked. Her mom cried when I told her, swearing she had no idea Emily had planned anything like this. My dad tried to calm me down, saying maybe she was overwhelmed with the stress of the wedding. But deep inside, I knew something wasn't right. That evening, I went to the restaurant where we were supposed to celebrate. I needed to distract myself, maybe fix something, maybe feel close to her. But instead, I got hit with another punch to the gut. The manager looked at me with sympathy and said, "Sir, your fiancé canceled the banquet yesterday." My heart stopped. Emily hadn't just run away. She had been planning this. She had the password to my phone. I trusted her so much that I never thought it could backfire one day. Yesterday, she grabbed my phone, saying she just wanted to check some photos. I didn't mind, but only a minute later, she started scrolling through my messages, and suddenly her face changed. She looked at me, furious, and snapped, "Who's this girl?" I froze. It was just a coworker. We had been talking about work, nothing more. But in her eyes, it was something else entirely. Her voice got louder, sharper. She said I had lied to her, that I had betrayed her trust. I tried to explain, but it didn't matter. She wasn't listening anymore. Her anger kept building, like a storm I couldn't stop. Finally, she threw the phone back into my hands, and shouted, "We're done." Then she stormed out, leaving me standing there with my heart pounding. I knew I hadn't done anything wrong, but the damage was already done. And now I don't know if she'll ever come back, or if this really was the end. The night after she left, I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, replaying her words in my head. "We're done." It echoed like a curse. I wanted to call her, to explain again, but my pride held me back. Instead, I just sat there in the dark, holding my phone, scrolling through our old pictures. Every smile, every laugh, it all felt like it had been erased in seconds. The next day, I saw her at the cafe we used to go to. She didn't expect me to be there, and for a moment, our eyes locked. She quickly turned away, pretending not to notice me, but I couldn't let her walk out again without saying something. I stood up and walked over. My hands were shaking, my voice almost breaking, but I asked her to just listen. She didn't yell this time. She just sat there, quiet, sipping her coffee while I poured my heart out. I told her the truth, about the coworker, about how I never even thought of anyone else but her. I told her she was the only one I wanted. For a second, I thought I saw her soften, but then she said something that froze me. "If I was the only one, why did I feel like I had to check your phone?" Her words cut deeper than anything else, because in that moment, I realized it wasn't just about the messages. It was about trust. And once trust is broken, no matter how innocent you are, it's almost impossible to fix. I walked out of that cafe feeling like the ground had been pulled from under me. Her words kept hammering inside my head. Why did I feel like I had to check your phone? It wasn't just about the messages anymore. It was about every doubt, every little seed of insecurity that had been planted between us. And the worst part, I couldn't blame her. Somewhere along the way, I had stopped making her feel safe, even if I never cheated. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, surrounded by silence so loud it almost hurt. I replayed our entire relationship in my head. The late night drives, the inside jokes only we understood, the way she used to rest her head on my chest like she belonged there forever. I couldn't understand how something so strong, so real, could fall apart over a couple of texts that meant nothing to me, but to her, they meant everything. I picked up my phone at least 100 times, wanting to type something, anything, that could fix it, but every draft looked pathetic. How do you convince someone to trust you again when their heart already decided to close the door? 2 days later, I found myself outside her apartment. I didn't even plan it. I just walked there, as if my body knew where I needed to be. I stood at her door, rehearsing in my head what I'd say if she opened it. But when the door finally cracked open, I froze. She stood there in an oversized hoodie, her eyes tired, like she hadn't slept either. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The silence between us was heavier than any argument we ever had. Then, almost whispering, I said, "I'm not here to beg. I just want you to know, I never betrayed you. Not once." Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. She nodded, almost like she believed me, but believing wasn't enough. Not anymore. I wanted to reach out and hold her hand, but something inside me told me not to. She wasn't mine to touch anymore, not the way she used to be. She leaned against the doorframe, her arms crossed, like she was trying to shield herself from me. "I don't doubt you cared," she finally said, her voice low. "But sometimes, caring isn't enough. I need someone I can feel secure with, and lately, with you, I don't." Those words hit harder than any accusation, because deep down, I knew she was right. Somewhere along the way, I stopped showing her that she was my only one, not because I didn't love her, but because I thought love alone would be enough to keep us together. We stood there, just staring at each other, until it became clear there was nothing left to say. I gave her a small nod, the kind you give when you're surrendering, not because you want to, but because you know you've lost. As I turned and walked down the hallway, every step felt heavier, like I was leaving behind more than just a person. I was leaving behind a future we had both imagined. The kind of future where Sunday mornings smelled like coffee and laughter, and arguments always ended in hugs. That night, lying in bed, I realized something I wish I had learned sooner. Sometimes love doesn't end with betrayal, or lies, or dramatic goodbyes. Sometimes, it just slips away quietly, piece by piece, until the person you'd do anything for is standing on the other side of a closed door. And the cruelest part, you don't even realize it's over until you're already walking away.